Hello all, and welcome to the golf section of 146. So I'm going to go over some information about what the golf, what's going to be included in the golf, what you're going to need to prepare for it, if you're a golfer, if you're new to golf, and then the couple golf assignments that we have. I'm not going to be talking about specific dates because my plan is to be able to use this video every semester. So it's really important that you check on Canvas for the dates for each of the assignments and all the things that are expected of you. So make sure that you are referencing Canvas as much as possible. So the first thing I want to talk about is what you're going to see on Canvas. And so in the golf section of Canvas, there's a couple things. And so you'll see that there's websites for and info for golfers, and it says for golf beginners. And because I've done a really exhaustive job of going through as many references as I could find that I thought were useful and kind of vetting them and going through and eliminating things that were too long or too like intricate. Because if you know golf is the rule book is like 400 pages, literally 400 pages. It's so long that there are times when there's a golf tournament on TV and there are officials on every hole, sometimes several on the hole. And still they will get phone calls from viewers going, hey, you have that one swing was an infraction of this dot 75 dot A 0.20 infraction, and they get a stroke penalty. I mean, there's so many rules. So I've gone through, eliminated it down to some really good websites for you and handouts for you. So if you don't know anything about golf, it's going to be really important that you prepare yourself for many reasons. Number one, when you go golfing in the tournament, you're going to need to know the rules. Number two, for the final exam, you have to know the rules as well. For those of you who are teaching, you need to know the rules that are involved with your skill that you're teaching so that you can share them with your group. And if that doesn't happen, and sometimes that's the case, people will miss points because it's important that you help your group understand. Then you will definitely have to prepare yourself if your group members didn't. So let me show you what I have here. Okay, I think that you were seeing this anyways. But on that golf website and info for golf beginners, there's some attachments here. And these attachments are kind of, let's see how quick it is if it pops over quickly. This quick guide to the rules is a really good resource. It's 10 pages long, but the first page is that. And so it's a really good thing to read. And you skim through things that you know, pay attention to things that you don't. It's not too long. It's kind of giant font. So that's a really good resource for you. So if you know nothing about golf, I mean, if basically you've played mini golf or you've been to a driving range, you need to know the rules of golf. So there's tons and tons of etiquette. And so please do that. Golf, these are just 1 and 2 pages, kind of basics, and they help you with the etiquette part of it. Golf is a very etiquette-based sport. Where to stand. I mean, even when someone's swinging, you're absolutely quiet. If you've ever seen it on TV, there's thousands of fans and they're completely quiet. You don't even hear anybody sniff. So I've also gone through some, the University of Google, and I've found some really good websites for you that some are funny. So even if you are a golfer, you should watch a couple of these. So basically this one down here, this etiquette with Patrick Harrington, he is a great golfer. He's got a cute little accent. And really, really good information of all the videos I found. It spent the amount of time on the video doing really great things and not a tremendous amount of things that you won't know. You won't need to know, things that you'll need to know when you leave a golf class. You'll be like, I know what that white post is, or that yellow post, or that red post. Some basic golf rules and etiquette here. It's entertaining, but it's great golf information. So entertaining would be the key word here. This is a really good one to watch. It's not very long. And then this one, of course, I threw in some Dude Perfect. If you don't know who they are, you should. And if you don't know who they are, you should definitely watch this video. And it's good information, but basically, as Dude Perfect always does, they're just poking fun at stereotypes by being and showing those stereotypes. So it'll help you kind of know what to do when you go to the golf course, how to carry your clubs, just different things like that. So that is the information that's on Canvas that's ready there for you to kind of prepare yourself if you don't know anything about golf. Excuse me. The next thing that we need to discuss is your driving range assignment. So basically, now that we're in the golf unit, within that golf unit, you have a driving range assignment. It is best placed in between the time that you video for your golf skill analysis project, because you have a golf skills analysis project, which is what I'm going to talk about next. Once the first video is recorded of you, if you do your driving range assignment in there, and if you're concentrating and you're doing what you should as far as trying to focus on improving your swing, that will help you tremendously. It's nice to be a kinesthetic learner, to learn fast, to be able to like feel when you're doing something wrong, and go to a driving range and have that repetitive kind of motion and practice so that you can improve. So it really does help tremendously with improving, and you're required to get better by the nature of that skill or that assignment. I'm sorry. So the driving range assignment, you can read here, I want you to go to a golf course and hit a bucket of balls. You cannot go to Top Golf. It doesn't count. And you will have to have pictures of yourself, so I'll be able to see that. But I want you to go into a pro shop. I want you to buy a token or get the receipt. You know, sometimes we're still old school tokens that you have to literally put in the machine. Some places are now phones and they'll send you QR codes and whatnot. But, you know, take a couple clubs with you. So if you don't have clubs, you can use them you can borrow them from the women's issue room with your one card, but they only have 7 irons there. And it's really kind of fun to go to the driving range and hit a driver, like hit the big dog, if you will. And so if you know, there's lots of people in your life, ask them if they have some golf clubs that you can borrow. If you're tall, try to borrow some from someone that's tall. If you're a woman golfer and you're having a hard time swinging the club because it's heavy, then the clubs that are graphite shafts, and we'll talk a little bit about that more, but they're lighter and they're easier to swing. They're better to hit if you're not a super strong person. So you are going to go to the pro shop. You have some clubs. You might find if you don't want to deal with renting clubs from the women's issue room with your one card, then you can go and maybe borrow or rent clubs from the pro shop. But it's always best to just take your own, and then you don't have to worry about paying extra for those types of things. Excuse me. So basically, you're going to hit a bucket of balls. You're responsible for proving that you did that. So show the receipt, pictures of the receipt, pictures or videos of you at the driving range. The burden of proof is on you. So don't just have a picture of you at a driving range with your thumbs up. Like, yay, look at me. You could have swung through Hagen Oaks, taken a picture and left. So evidence that you've done it, no matter what, beyond a shadow of a doubt. If it's not enough evidence, you won't get the credit for it. So make sure that it is apparent that you went and hit balls. Let's see. There's some extra information here that's helpful if you want to kind of go through. I don't want to read it all, but because it's boring. Again, you can't go to Top Golf. You can go to Top Golf. You should go to Top Golf. You should take your friends and everyone from class to Top Golf. It just doesn't count for this. Have a good time. Don't fall over the edge. Okay. So now we are going to focus on your golf skills analysis project. So basically, this overview here that you're seeing is you're going to have a pre-recording of your golf swing. Then you're going to identify areas that you want to improve. Then you're going to practice. And then at the end, you're going to turn in the kind of finale project, the final project of your analysis and then your post-swing videos. So that's kind of what this whole says here. Record yourself in the pre-swing, or there'll be a video recording of your pre-swing. Identify 3 areas that's due within a week of the time that you're given or the time that we video. Make sure you check Canvas for the due dates. Practice and practice and practice to ensure that you're improving. So during lesson plans at school, focus on what you've identified to fix. Go to the driving range, work on those things so that you have to get better. If you don't get better, you don't get these credit for this 10% part of the credit. Complete the analysis paper. There's directions, of course, below, and also submit a post-video evidence that your golf swing has improved. So that's kind of the overview of the whole thing. It's broken into parts. Again, you'll see Canvas for the due date. Typically, you're given a week. Spring break sometimes kind of changes that time frame, but you're given a week to turn in your 3 areas for improvement. And we're going to talk about the kind of specifications that those feedback statement needs to be so that you can help yourself and help me understand exactly what you're going to improve upon. So the first part is your identify areas for improvement. Excuse me. For the pre-swing video, you're going to then identify at least 3 aspects of your swing that you'd like to improve. And they have to be super specific. I'll scroll down here in just a second and give you some examples of ideas or statements that aren't good. For example, fix posture or good or improve eye-hand coordination. First of all, you can't improve eye-hand coordination, you know, but it's not a goal of a lesson. It's something that it's a byproduct of many, many, many focused hours doing something. So you certainly can't do it in 3 or 4 weeks that we have this golf unit. So 3, literally you're going to write your name, write your 3 areas and include the pre-video so that I have it on the assignment so I can click on your video, look at your 3 areas and see if they're accurate, see if they're detailed, see if they're helpful enough. Oop, coffee's done. See if they're helpful enough to be able to drive your improvement. Okay, so again, you're going to do the 3 areas and your video, your videos that you have, whatever, if they're 2 videos, if they're 1 video, we'll talk about that. Here's the suggested format because it's, I find helpful for you to see exactly, once again, what's due. Obviously put your name, your 3 areas for improvement, super specific, and then your videos must be included here. So either you can load them onto YouTube and click the YouTube link on your, the paper that you turn in, or you can just drop the videos in the Dropbox in Canvas. So either way, I just need to have the video or videos and your 3 areas. These are the non-examples of not helpful, not acceptable comments. And so it's really important that you work on specifics. And so here's some, you know, like I said, improved eye coordination was my little comment of how in the world would you do that? Make good contact. That's a really good, bad example. Make good contact. Well, we all want to make good contact. So what are you going to work on to improve that? I mean, if you're contacting on the heel or the toe of the club, you know, why is that happening? Are you taking it back in a wrong pathway? Are you picking it up? Are you turning the club when it comes through? So those are the specific feedbacks. Like I have the came over the top, which if you're a golfer, you know what that means. If not, you won't be using those terms. Or I'm picking up my elbow, which is making my club come up high and it needs to come flat. And you might go, well, how in the world am I supposed to know that? Because this is the golf class, right? This is where you're going to learn that. You're going to have to look at videos. There's people in your life who know how to play golf. And if there isn't people in your life that know how to play golf, you've got the University of Google. There are actually apps, like one's called the Coaching Eye, and they're like 99 cents, and some of them are free, where you load your video in there and they will do a biomechanical analysis of your video, and it'll be like a side-by-side, and you can go like slowly through it and go, oh my gosh, look how wide my feet are, or look how I'm turning my feet. Watch how their head is staying and perfect, and mine is going up and then down. So you are in a field where we analyze visually skill. So when we look at someone throw a ball, we have to go, okay, that doesn't look like it's supposed to. This is what I'm going to, as a teacher, going to need to change. And now you're being asked to do that. It just happens to be about golf, and maybe you don't know a ton. Just like anything in the sport, if I were to give you a lacrosse stick and you only play lacrosse 1 time in non-traditional, and someone was throwing it, you wouldn't go, I don't know what to do. Go look at what it's supposed to look like and compare it to what you're seeing. So that's exactly what the expectation is here. So make good contact is a horrible comment, you know, not specific enough to be helpful. What kind of contact is being made and what needs to be changed? So those are the things that you need to write that you're going to be focusing on and working on. A better swing. These are actual comments that were taken to people. I want to have a better swing. That's a little bit not specific. So, you know, how are you going to improve on it? Because whatever you say you're going to do, I'm going to be specifically looking for it. And if it's not specific, it's too hard to be helpful for anybody. Body position or improved body position. So what is wrong with your position? And those sometimes are the most easiest to determine. You just have to be specific. If you look at yourself, you're like, oh, I have a hunched back, or why are my feet pointed like this, or why are they so wide? Or do I have baseball feet? And what does that mean? Like, do you point your foot towards your target when it's supposed to say? Do you not lift up that back foot when that back foot is supposed to come off the, not come off the ground, your back heel is supposed to come off the ground as you push, so you drive the ball for distance. So take a look at a couple swings. There's a million things on the internet, and then look at your swing and see how it differs. 3 things that you think are the most important. You can be more if you want to. And those are the areas that then I will be looking for 2 things. Number 1, are your areas accurate? And number 2, did you improve in the areas that you've identified? Super important that both of those things happen with those comments. So that's the first thing that's due. It doesn't take a lot of time unless you really, really, really know nothing about golf. Then it does take a little more time to kind of research and see kind of what that actually looks like. Excuse me, compare it to yours and then do that feedback. This is where 10 points of the, I think it's the whole thing's worth 100. The whole thing's worth 10%. So this is where 10% of your 10%, if you will. And then this is part 2. So you've had your video, you've turned in your 3 areas for improvement. Now it's time to focus on improving in those areas. So the first thing, practice a lot. Obviously, do your driving range assignment within that time. It's intended to help you do your swing. I even think there's most semesters, there's a day off in the semester that I give you to go do it. And a lot of times Hagen Oaks is right down Fulton. So if you want to go to Hagen Oaks as a group and meet there, that's always fun. Excuse me. So some coffee. The next thing that you're going to do is record your post-swing video. And there's a lot of pieces to this because I've learned that if I'm not super specific with all of the pieces in the requirement, you're going to see in quite repetitive fashion here in a bit, that there are some really important things to repeat and repeat and repeat, because no matter how many times I say them, I still get assignments that aren't meeting those requirements. After you are sure that you are completely improved in your 3 areas, you're going to videotape yourself. Video number 2 and the set of video at the end and the set of video at the beginning are supposed to be exactly the same. So if you attended the day, and if there was a day where I recorded you exactly the way that you were going to be needed to record yourself at the end. And there's going to be 6 swings, 3 from the front, so 3 from in front of your shoulders, and 3 from behind the ball, which is behind your dominant shoulder. So if you're right-handed, that person will be behind your right shoulder, and you're going to be hitting far away. Don't obviously stand in front of the ball. It's super important that they are consecutive swings. 3 consecutive swings. You can't just swing 100 times, film them all, and give me the best 3. It has to be unaltered, unedited, 3 consecutive in a row. Press record, record 3 swings, press pause or stop, and then change your perspective, vantage point, or filming angle, and then film again. Okay. So let's see. Go to the driving range and practice 6 swings, consecutive, exactly the way the first recordings were done. And here is a video or picture description of exactly what you want to do with the specifics. So literally press record and capture 3 consecutive swings from behind the ball. Make sure that your body is filling up the kind of entire screen. There's not large areas of either nothingness or grass or sky. Your body should fill the whole thing so that you're not this microscopic little tiny thing that I'm trying to lean in and see, see exactly, how you performed. It can't be from the ground. So if you have to have someone help you film it, or you have to prop it up. It has to be directly parallel to you, either the back of you or the shoulders. So it's got to be exactly like this one right here, pointed with my finger, that's good. Or this one here, where you're right in front of the shoulders or behind the dominant shoulder. Not off to the side and not on the ground with the vantage point up. You can't see angles. I can't see where the head is, if it's going up or down. I can't see if you're swaying when you swing, which is really important. So make sure you look for that. And typically when you're filmed, there'll be something behind you. Maybe it's a fence, maybe it's the parking garage, maybe it's a window, and there'll be probably a horizontal line somewhere. And then while you're swinging, you can tell if your head rises above that, and that's something that's important for you to assess. Or when you're in front filming, if you sway back when you swing the club and then you sway forward, it's hard to hit a target while your body is moving so much. So there are ways that you can identify that, and then that's really, really, really important to fix. So back to it. 3 swings from behind or in front, it doesn't matter which angle you do first, but 3 swings here. press pause. If you have an Android, this is like the best thing about your Android phone, because I used to have one. It has a pause button. iPhones don't, that I know of, or at least not yet. You can press pause, move, and then do the rest of your recording. So if you have an iPhone, then you'll have to press stop and then just submit 2 recordings for both your pre and your post. So you move into position in front of body, parallel to the shoulders. Your body again should fill up the screen so that you're not tiny, so that you're not the size of this cursor, this tiny little thing, and way, way, way far away. So zoom in, make sure your body fills the screen. If you need another example, just look at your pre-videos if I did those for you. The one that's tough that I find with people is that when you're filming this angle, so when you're in front of the shoulders, the tendency is to get your phone and you're recording, and then when the ball goes to go, whoa, and then come back. And then go, whoa. Yeah, don't do that. So if I'm filming this vantage point of Tiger Woods right here from the front of his shoulders, film, just press start, record, film 1, film 2, film 3, and then pause it. And then hold it really still, get yourself a tripod, put it somewhere so that it doesn't move. Hopefully it's not windy, because that's a big pain in the rear end. And that's it, 3 times in a row for both vantage points. I mean, if you swing 3 times and one of them misses and you don't like it, then just re-record the whole thing. It's only 3 swings, takes you maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. If you mess up, then just do it again until you're sure that your evidence is there that you've improved. Here's some notes about recording. Again, there's going to be some repetitive pieces that I'm going to say over and over again because it's really important so that people don't lose points. It's better for this assignment to use irons or wedges, pitching wedges, sand wedges, or higher irons like the 9s or the 8s. They're a little bit easier to hit because they're shorter. They're not as much fun. So I know you like to hit the driver. I do as well. But they're easier to hit. They're a little bit easier to swing for most beginners. And so that's kind of the recommendation. As you know, the drivers are longer. Go ahead and hit those at the driving range. But when you're doing this assignment, make the little ones. They make us for some reason, the big driver makes us want to swing really hard. And the harder we swing when we're not good, when we're not great, the more trouble you get in. So it's a nice, easy, controlled swing that will make the ball go far and straight. Okay. Again, some repeated things, and I think it even says in here a couple times, do not stop recording after every swing. If you do, you'll lose all the points for the video. Recording the swings must be at 3 consecutive in a row. So 3 in one angle, 3 in the other, don't stop, don't doctor it. Recordings that are cut or edited will lose points. They must be consecutive, just like the first time you were recorded. It's not acceptable to cut, splice, alter, etc. individual swings together. So I've had people try many times to make it not look like they did it. It's very easy to tell if you do, 50 swings and you pick the top 3, that's not the intention. I want you to produce 3, sequenced movements so that I can take a look at you and see exactly what you've got going. Do not follow the ball once contact is made, of course. That's most specifically from when you're in front of the shoulders. When you're behind the ball, you could see the ball, but don't move the camera. Just keep the camera on you and then stay still. Make sure I can see you well. So sometimes there'll be a glare and the sun will come through and it'll kind of cross through your body. I can't see you, that doesn't count. Dark shadows. Sometimes I've had people go, it's almost evening and probably the night before it's due, and the sun has set and I can barely see you if there's dark shadows. And some people have straight up done their thing at night, like midnight dark, and they're trying to shine their lights of their phone or somebody's phone or their car. I've got to be able to see you pretty well. And in both of those cases, you'll lose points because I couldn't see those people. So make sure that you film during the day, get all your information kind of ready to go, make sure that the video is good, because you are given points for the quality of the video and improvement. And if the quality of the video is bad, I might not be able to see your improvements. You could actually lose points in 2 categories. You are given points for following directions. And then of course, points will be deducted for those who didn't. Once you've filmed your post swing, verify that you made improvements. So don't just go out and film you and go, okay, I'm done. Look at the video, remember your 3 areas, make sure that you've improved in those areas. And if you didn't, then go film again. If you film again and you're still not seeing those improvements, then you're going to need more practice. You're going to need more focused practice on those things that you said you were going to improve to get better. And so it's important that you are working and really paying attention to whatever it is. If you need to keep your head down, if you need to, keep rotating the proper way, whatever the thing that you're doing, focus on those things during your lesson. And there really is a lot of, it's very easy to see when you have practiced and when you haven't. So make sure that you are kind of focusing on the things that you need to improve. So you are graded on improvement, accurately identifying areas for improvement, and your final project submission. And here's the actual grading sheet and directions for your analysis. So the final project is due, check it on Canvas, and it's usually either right when swimming starts or at the very end of golf. And this is what your analysis paper needs to include. All 4 of your videos have to be on your analysis paper. So when I go in to grade your analysis, I'm going to be able to click on your pre and then click on your post videos, and they're all right there. Also, something that needs to be repeated is the very first thing that you're going to do is list all of the areas. Where it is here. Start your paper by listing the areas that you've identified as areas of improvement. So you're going to put your pre-video, you're going to put your post video, and then all 3 of the areas again. So in one place, I can click pre-videos, click what you've written as your areas for improvement, and then click your post videos and then read your analysis. Specifically describe how you determine these areas and like how you determine how you identified them. Did you ask someone? Did you look online? Did you look at, was there a video that you could do? Did you find a fun app? Did you go to your parents or significant others' golf course and ask them? I mean, there's lots of different ways to do it. Some will work for you, some won't. Some won't, but you have to, don't just sit at your computer and go, I don't like my head. I'm just a good better head position. I don't know what that means. It's not helpful. So do a good job so that this can be easy and beneficial for you. What specifically in detail did you do to make improvements? So I want to know what you did over the 4 weeks while we're in golf to make improvements. Did you concentrate during the peer lesson? Did you go to the golf course a couple times? Did you have a significant other in your life take you and help you with things? What were they doing? Did they put their hand on your head so you keep it down? Did they work on different twisting drills? Did you Google, how do I fix a slice? Whatever it is, list specifically what you did to make improvements. And there need to be things. You can't just go, I don't really do much, so what am I going to say I did? Do things so that this assignment becomes easy. And then you are required to have references and resources, much like in the previous question where it said, how did you determine and what did you do? You have to have references and resources. It's part of the question. It's worth 10 points. So what references, what resources were they not emails, could have been emails, I guess, if you got an email from someone. Were they websites? Were they your parent, significant other, whatever it is, what were they and what did you specifically learn from each? So read these 4 questions. They're each worth 10 points. You are required for references and resources. So if there's none, then you didn't do it right. You'll lose those points, okay? So here's the point system. This is kind of the last thing, very last thing. So 10 points are given for the sprint, the pre-swing, and the detailed analysis of the areas for improvement. And mostly because if you submitted the pre-swing video, that's there. I usually record that pre-swing video, so you're good. 10 points for appropriately and accurately identifying errors. So if I look at something and go, whoa, your feet are so wide and your feet are pointing out and you don't say anything about your stance, that's probably something that's the kind of, your stance is the easiest thing to fix because you're doing that when you're not moving. So definitely start in a good spot. So if you don't identify something that's glaring and obvious, there will be kind of points off. And so what I do is I press your pre-video. And if you're a good golfer, I tend to bring in good golfer friends of mine. Like I have a couple my husband's an amazing golfer, and then he's also a pedagogy professor. And so he can help me there. He's taught golf. He's, lots of golf in his life. And so he usually helps me, but if he's not able to have golf pro friends, I can send things like with the really good golfers. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this guy? And they'll send me some pro golf tips. And so I'll utilize those. It's a little bit harder to do the awesome golfers, but it's fun for me because I like helping people get better. And golf is one of those things that if you're a golfer, you want to get better. So you're kind of open to that. If you're not a golfer, then what I'll do is I'll press play on your video and I'll write down probably anywhere from 5 to 7, sometimes 10 things that you're doing wrong. And I'll star the things that I would fix first. If you pick something that's not even on my list of 10 to fix, it's likely it's not accurate. But there are things that are glaringly obvious that I'll be like, okay, that's got to be in the top 3. And so hopefully there's some, there is a lot of wiggle room because like I said, I'll write down a ton of things. Your 3 should definitely be in those top. And then I'll give you all that feedback so you have all of those pieces of things that I saw as well. So your pre and your post videos are submitted with your final project. You're given 5 points for each. If you forget to do your pre videos, and I have to go back in the Google Drive and find them, which is a pain in the rear end, not easy, then that's going to reduce your score. If you don't submit them at all, that's tremendously problematic because I can't do a pre and a post. If you lose your videos, that I can't do a pre and post, there's lots of points that will be lost for that because I can't complete, 50% at least of the assignment here. The quality of the video is super important, including, following the directions, specifically how to video, what to video, from what angle, the sunlight. Don't prop your video on the ground and film you like this. I can't see. If you're videoing from a driving range, which most people will, and the driving range that kind of have these like divider walls is a really poor example, but like there's a person in the middle, and then there's like another wall here, another wall, and they divide it so people don't get hit. If you can't stand, so say that you're the golfer that's right here, and there's a wall here, they're really short walls. So you have to stand in this bay over here to videotape. Not probably the best, but you kind of get it. They're like divided by little mini walls sometimes. And you'd have to get yourself in a spot where your video recorder can stand in kind of directly in front of your shoulders. So all that's important. And then 15 points or 15% of this grade is, did you improve on the areas that you've identified? Okay. And of course, just as a reminder, anything late is 10% a day, 10% off a day from Monday through Friday. So make sure that you are doing it on time and that you're all dialed in. Okay, there's one more thing I want to show you. Maybe. Okay. So I think I have, let's see, this is oh, that's tiny. Okay, so horrible example, a good example of a horrible thing. This picture is from a weird angle. I've had people do this before, so don't do that. Let's see. This is also not the most helpful. So we're just seeing the feet. That won't work. Let's see. Okay, objects in the, oh no, that's not it. There he is. Objects in the way, can't do that. So make sure I can absolutely see not only can I see your entire body, but there's nothing in the way. Let's see. Face out of the way. I've had people do. This one is the most popular. Now, super important that you see this and you understand this person is being videotaped from the wrong angle. So they're not directly in front of these shoulders, they're back and to the side. And so if I were to record this person, if you can see my cursor, I think you can, the person needs to stand in front of their feet. Like if their feet are an equal sign, they should be standing at the equal sign extended so that you are right in front of the shoulders. So not like this when they're performing, like literally you can see their shoulders and everything. That's super important. For contact point, for sway, for the way the ball goes. I can't see it at this angle. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but you can't see what you need to see when you're back here. So don't do at an angle, directly behind, directly in front of the shoulders, and then you should be set. So what you should do now is you should go into Canvas and see all of the due dates. Sometimes there's quizzes that are aligned with the directions, but there's definitely all those other assignments and all those due dates for when things are, what does it look like on the calendar for the driving range assignment and everything. So, all right, family, have fun, be amazing. A lot of times people come off of this golf class and this golf assignment, and they end up kind of liking it. And they end up I'll have people a semester later go, I bought clubs. I loved it so much. It's a challenge. And so enjoy yourself. And if spring break is coming soon, have a great spring break. Maybe take someone to the driving range. All right, family.